Welcome to the One Goat and the Property Guys podcast, brought to you by Harcourts Property Centre. I'm Sam Devlin, lead host and absolute legend of the podcast industry. I've always got Spudley Wudley, Nathan Bang Bang O'Neill and Aaron Brooks alongside me as we look to navigate real estate, life and the general business landscape as we interview people and find out if they truly are a goat or a spud. Alrighty.
Brace yourselves. This is going to be wow. Devlin's got control of a microphone and a captive audience.
Yeah, mate, we absolutely love it. And
You
I
love
suppose before we even get underway, that's one of the great intros ever, by the way, where we all righty and we all just start having a go at each other.
It was always
So
going to be
that
chat.
should give you the tone for this. I think the main thing and the reason we're doing this, Spudley and AB, is ultimately we want to talk about, the GOAT, and the greatest of all time. And we can do that many different ways. Obviously, we couldn't do a full podcast about me. So we introduced a few other people, yourself and Spud, and we'll introduce a few topics. And the topic will be the GOAT and, what we've seen some greats do throughout our tenure in real estate. But I suppose I'll throw it over to you, AB. Why the hell, after 30 years, how long you been in real estate?
33.
33 years. So why the hell after 33 years are we doing a podcast?
Good question. Look, I think probably just a good opportunity for people to get to understand who we are, sort of a bit behind the scenes, pull back the curtains and have a look at who the real goats are, or goat, or one, or whatever we want to refer to it as. Look, I think it's just a good opportunity for us to keep it real and to be ourselves. And, there's a lot of feedback about real estate people in general. I think our responsibility is to show that we're human, do some good things, do some pretty ordinary things at times as well. But, the focus is always trying to start off with the best intentions at mind and get the job done right and look after our people.
Plus, there was no technology when you started either.
Absolutely no technology. And you probably suggest that I still really don't use it in this modern era. Sam's always at me about my lack of use of technology, but that's what we got Sam here for.
Exactly.
He's good at the spreadsheets and the, all the rest of the technology stuff. He so
The triple
desperately
threat,
tries the
threat.
triple
Yeah,
threat.
like I said, we couldn't do a podcast just about me.
So that would be boring.
Yeah, it'd be really good.
Yeah, right.
But
Could you imagine all the reviews, Sam, just in there typing
Oh,
all the
yeah.
reviews?
He's going to put a whole lot of people on overseas in some call centre just giving him great reviews. If there's going to be a goat on every episode, I can guarantee you it'll be Sam on the basis of
you
him,
guys need to
getting
change
a full...
your mic's not close enough, Nathan.
There you go.
Keep up, mate. The GOAT nature and being the greatest of all time, we're certainly not it. In fact, I think that what has made
for yourself.
What has made our business so good is that we're always trying to get greater.
Yep.
Than where we were yesterday.
Yep.
But I want to peel back the onion. Spudley, I said I wouldn't ask you, but I'm going to. When was the last time you seriously stuffed up?
Oh, do you know what, Sam? There's many stories I could probably tell. I don't know whether this is the forum.
What time is it?
To tell them. Obviously.
What have you done in the last hour that you stuffed up?
Well, you did
I'll
chauffeur us.
tell you,
You chauffeured us here.
Yeah, well, that
was great.
probably
That
a
was one of the
mistake,
great stitch-ups.
Sitting there, offering to drive the boys over, and they both hop in the back seat like they're being chauffeured, and took the opportunity to videotape it, which I'm sure will be shared amongst the group. So that's
going to be the intro to this podcast.
That's a mistake in itself. But hey, at the end of the day, if you're not making mistakes, you're not learning. So
True.
I suppose that's a very important lesson. But I've made heaps. Starting in real estate young, I was a bit of a lunatic. I remember one funny story. And Aaron, you might remember, we used to go to New Zealand and we went to Rotorua for a business leaders conference, and I'd had a few drinks, and I remember talking to my wife, Kelly, at about 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning, sitting on the lounge chair outside the lift, and I must have fell asleep halfway through the conversation, and I'd pride myself on never missing a session. And I thought no one had seen me until I rocked up at lunchtime because I missed the first session, and everyone's asking me about how's the sleep. And considering I'd always prided myself on turning up to the sessions and how good I was, that was a bit of an embarrassing moment for me. So, yeah.
Which one was that? That was Rotorua.
I suppose before we get into it too much further, because I don't know what angle we're really going down now, we should probably introduce ourselves. Aaron Brooks, mate, a name synonymous with real estate. Ray White's first sales cadet in 1992. They invented the word cadet, and they decided Aaron would be their first. So, mate,
you love to throw the chat that, I think in 1992 I won Cadet of the Year.
Yeah, I was
but you
4
also
years
loved
old.
you were skating around pretending you were Mighty Ducks.
Yeah, mate, at 4 I was one of the
But
great
you love
skaters.
to tell people that the only reason I won that is because I was the only cadet.
Yeah.
Which is, there was a couple of others, but clearly are pretty ordinary.
Yeah. Well, demonstrably so. But, mate, you then, from Ray White, went to Harvey's as an auctioneer.
Yes.
And over there,
so cadetship first, salesperson, got recruited by a company out of Melbourne to go over and work for a company in Auckland, just helping them list auctions and getting their head around all of that as a process because it was relatively new for them over there. They just wanted to get some Australian guys across, and myself and Richie McCann and Brainy, and there was a few other guys that ended up going over. But I worked with a guy over there called David Clifton, who was probably one of the biggest influences on my life as a young auctioneer, if that makes any sense. I probably wasn't all that young, probably early to mid-20s. Had 4 or 5 years here in sales, and then went over and did that. And that was a great learning experience, just going to a whole nother country, getting the opportunity to go out there and, I guess, work with salespeople, help them list auctions and help them get an understanding about what to do once they've listed one to get it through to a process of being sold. Obviously calling them as well. So, in that year, I probably called on 1,000 auctions, which was great in the first year of being over there, which was awesome. So really good experience. Loved that. When I was over there, I actually met Mike Green. So he had some offices over in the eastern suburbs, and I was working in offices in the western suburbs. So I ended up managing 4 offices over there. He ran his over there, and he said, mate, when you come back to Australia, just, sing out. We'll have a chat. And I did, and the rest is history. Came back and started as the auction manager at Harcourts, and then I became the general manager there, and then I became the CEO and bought into the company. So,
you are Harcourts through and through.
Yeah, very much so.
Love it. And do you think your upbringing leading agents in the western suburbs of Auckland is why you have such an affinity with Logan and Beanley?
Look, honest Aaron, the worker's friend. That's what they call me down there. I can deal with any person from any, like what you do or where you live doesn't reflect on how I treat somebody. Like if somebody treats me well, I guarantee you I treat them better. So regardless of where they come from, if you're a good human being, you're in my good books.
No, absolutely. Absolutely. I think that's fair to say. And then over on my right-hand side, we got Nathan Spudley, Wadley, Spud, Bang Bang,
Junket King,
Junket Boy. Mate, obviously plenty of nicknames, but you are on record
Why
as...
Spud? Like, where'd you get Spud from?
Oh, I'm glad you brought that up, Aaron, because another trip to New Zealand that we had many, many years ago, I remember we decided that a CEO of Queensland at the time, I think a guy by the name of Aaron Brooks, decided that everyone needed a nickname. So he decided that because of my curvy looks at the time, that a certain little toy that his young son had, Mr. Potato, was
Mr. Potato Head
correlated with my head. And therefore, the nickname Spud was then formed. When we come back from New Zealand and the Spud was locked in, I remember walking into a training session. So here's a bunch of business owners ready for some business planning, and the first thing I see is this Mr. Potato toy sitting on the whiteboard saying, "Welcome, Spud." Now, obviously, I had to take this home to Kelly because she didn't understand what the Spud was about.
It
And
wasn't for you to take. It
I
was your
took
kid's
it,
toy.
I took it home, and then next thing I
Where's
get a
Mr.
phone call
Potato Head?
saying, "Can you bring my son's toy back?"
Yeah.
The old Mr.
Well, you
Potato.
shouldn't, mate. You have been known to take
One of the
things
great
too
thieves.
far. Yeah, exactly. But I'll you know,
Friendly awards.
just to keep us on track, as often I have to do when we catch up. Nathan, next to me, mate. Were you the youngest? Are you still the youngest ever business owner in the history of Harcourts? How old were you?
I was in my early 20s, so 21, 22, around
Yeah.
there. So I don't believe
So
anyone's been longer.
1995. When was that?
No, early 2000s.
Oh, okay.
So I don't believe anyone's beat that, and I think there's only one other person that's been a longer business owner, which I need Wendy Lanigan to retire so I can beat that. Is the next thing. So
Gotta love Wendy.
I love Wendy. She's awesome. She's absolutely
greats.
awesome.
Also a Hall
We
of
should get
Famer.
her. We should get her on the podcast
Yeah, well,
one day.
yeah. Well, you guys could do like a Hall of Fame, living in the Hall of Fame podcast.
I like it.
Yeah, so no, it'd be that'd be good. But mate, so 21 up in Gympie,
Up in Gympie,
mate, running a muck up there.
running a mark, no idea. Halfway through my traineeship, so I figured, well, if I'm halfway through a traineeship, I may as well be a business owner because I know it all. So forget about the traineeship and let's go straight into business ownership.
Yeah,
And then I think I actually, I don't even know whether I finished my traineeship.
What kind of a CEO would actually take that person?
a desperate one.
I'm glad I did though. Like,
Yeah,
you
Best
know,
decision
put all the
Harcourts ever made.
qualifications aside. You had a motor right from day one, mate.
Oh, absolutely.
And like anything, you know, success in life isn't what you know. It's how much you're prepared to rip in and have a go. I mean, knowing things is obviously important, but like you can't judge the size of someone's motor, right? And in life, that's everything, right?
Yeah.
You know, there's lots of people out there that scholastically are very impressive and they've got all of the understanding, but you know, if you're not getting your fires burning and you're not working hard and being focused on making a difference, then all of that's out the window, you know.
I think the thing I like...
You had it from day one.
Yeah, I think the thing I like about that time was it was an era where you did make calls on the person and not just necessarily on the application.
Yep.
Whereas today it's all these boxes have to be ticked, and sometimes, you know, where they might be one or two things short, but if you actually look at the person and you believe in that person,
Yep.
they might not let you down. And I think we've become very commercialised in that way. And, you know, if you didn't take the punt on me at that time, then we wouldn't be sitting here today. So, you know, that's probably the one thing I sort of miss about today is that lacks a little bit.
Yep.
It's all about ticking boxes.
no, absolutely. And so, what's one lesson real estate has taught you that applies to life outside of business?
I think one lesson it's taught me is to be resilient. Real estate is a roller coaster of emotions. Markets change, situations change all the time. You deal with many personalities. So you've got to have that certain resilience to move with the different times, but never lose who you are as a person and what you care about and your values. That's really important. And it's like an old saying that, you know, people don't care how much you know till they know how much you care. A wise man once told me that. And I think that still rings true today because it's a tough industry. It's a tough industry and it's not for everyone. I know we have this perception that we make all this money and it's easy. It's not. I know with our business, as we get bigger and bigger, we face more challenges every day. And emotionally that can have its confronting moments. But if you surround yourself with good people and you have that want and desire to be better, you know, the rewards are there.
Yep. I guess from my perspective, you know, if it's good, it won't be easy. And if it's easy, it won't be good, right?
Yeah.
And I think, you know, the turnover, unfortunately, in our industry is pretty high because I think people get this vision of what being in real estate's all about, and it's about houses and, you know, it's not. It's a people business, right?
So let me ask you this then, Aaron, because in an industry where turnover is incredibly high, I know we went 3 years without losing a single person to another agency or brand, and it's it's probably something we wear pretty proudly on our chests. So, what do you think has led to such great retention of our people?
I think, we often speak about it. If it's not in the wheelhouse of recruitment or retention for our people, we don't do it right. So part and parcel of a business that can recruit, the most important thing is retaining your good quality people, right? Like on average, most people, particularly in our business, spend more time at work than they do at home. So you've got to create an environment where it's family, it's real, it's genuine. You can't leave your heart at home when you come to work. I think just from our perspective, just focusing on the human element is critical from my perspective. I think there's lots of really talented real estate people out there, but also I think there's a lot of people out there that are just lost. Everyone's fighting a battle of some description. You are, Sammy, you are, I know I do as well. So I think the key element is just being kind and caring enough about the individual to make sure that you remain connected to that person rather than just it being a process. And I think a lot of businesses in general, particularly when you've got, principals or business owners that compete against you in sales, and there's nothing wrong with that, and that's their model, but they're so busy doing that they just don't pick up those little things. I think just getting a touch on everyone every day in your environment is really critical. And I think, people knowing and understanding that you care about them as a human above the results that they produce, I think is a critical ingredient to long-term success in any relationship. It's just being connected to the individual. The more so you're doing that. And people feel whether it's real or whether it's not. And I guess when it's real, it's important, and, the relationship thrives.
No, very profound.
What about you, Sam?
What about me, mate?
How would you answer that question?
I think I'm pretty aligned with Aaron's response there. It probably just comes down for me that, one, we do what we say when we're going to do it. And I think a lot of business owners will sit out there and they'll talk about culture and admin support and, all these strings to their bow. And sometimes they might have it. I just don't think they have it as good as what we have it. And so I think we really walk the walk and talk the talk in that regard. And, I know from my perspective, it's not a one-size-fits-all approach. And I suppose we're not a black and white business. We do a tremendous amount of business in the grey, and what might work for Aaron might not work for you, but that's okay. We just have to make sure that we see our people as our client, and if it's right for them, it'll be right for us. And, so sometimes, are we the most profitable business in real estate? No,
Definitely not.
Definitely not. Like the cost to run a business which isn't procedurally based and focused on a very black and white response is expensive, because we try to fulfill everyone's needs, and those needs are often, one, expensive, or two, different, and so I think ultimately that's why we've had success over the last few years on not losing too many. I will say I don't think I'm complacent about that, because we need to be better and greater, and we need to continue to work on that. But I also think that's probably part of our secret sauce, is that we could be the number one real estate group in the world and we'd still want to get better.
Yes.
I agree.
I
think our superpower, mate, is that we understand that this wouldn't be fun if it was about the money.
Yeah.
So the fact that we do, like, I love what I do, right? And you guys do as well. Like, it's, I roll up and go through my processes every morning, looking forward to getting in there. And because when I'm in there, we've got a pretty strict no dickhead policy. And if we can't see ourselves, I was going to say falling in love.
So we're the three biggest dickheads in the business.
Yeah, we can be, well, yeah, I mean, yeah, fair. However, Listen,
Where do you go now?
I think there's a difference between being a dickhead and acting like a dickhead, and I think there's times that we probably act like dickheads. However, in saying that, when you come to work, and your responsibility is to bring the energy, the vibe, the motivation in the place, the base of disciplines, all of those things. And when you're doing that and it's genuine and it's real, then that makes the biggest of differences, right? And there's no way that you can be excited about having a conversation with someone that you don't have a connection with, right? So if when you're recruiting people and getting people into your environment, if there's chemistry and a connection there, then that only is a good base foundation to build from, right? So when you got people that you genuinely like and you go, hey, this will work, I got a bit of a spark with them. And when that relationship gets stronger and stronger, that only makes things better, right? And I also think it enables you to have, the happy, fun chats, but it also enables you to have the, we call it come to Jesus chats, where the hard stuff and your ability to enter the danger on, some issues that are going on and being real and genuine about it. And I think deposits and withdrawals, right? Making more deposits in the relationship than withdrawals. But, if you're making enough deposits, you have the right to make a withdrawal to say, hey, listen, this is going on and I'm not comfortable. Then when you do enough good stuff in it, those conversations are easy because it's a base foundation of trust and respect, right? So having good people is a key ingredient, right? Got good people, you can do anything.
Yeah. And, obviously we love what we do.
Yep.
And running a real estate business in 2025 requires a fair amount of thick skin. People are running and jumping at us daily. And there's, I think what I love about it is the chaos. There's 250 people in our business or thereabouts.
Carnage.
And there's 250 family members that we have to think about.
Yep. How good though?
Yeah, it's awesome.
What a great problem to have.
Yeah,
right?
it's an awesome problem to have. What do you do to get away from it?
I don't know if we ever really get away from it, to be honest, because it just starts so early and it finishes so late, right? You got to love doing it to really get the value proposition out of it, right? Look, I can only speak for myself. Like, I'm just big on daily rituals, right? Like, I'd get up early. I'm through my processes in the morning. I go into sort of robot mode, if that makes any sense, before I get to the office. There's a whole series of things that I want to get done before I get there in the morning, which just sets my day off, right? I always just, bite off more than you can chew and chew like crazy. So I get up nice and early, go to the gym. I'm having a coffee with the old boys down the gym, which is nice afterwards. Coming home from a cold shower, I'm writing them a gratitude book.
Do you reckon you're getting closer to being the old boys?
Yeah. I look at it now and I see some of the young people run around real estate and I'm looking at, wow, like that used to be me back in the day.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm probably considered an old boy these days, I guess. Hey, I'm still not mentally, of course, but physically, yeah. Yeah, getting long in the tooth, mate. But some would say you were too, but you're a lot younger than you look, so. But that's okay,
Listen, you can't help it.
That's all right.
You can't help it.
Yeah.
We should run a survey on guess how old Sam is.
You want to hear a funny story? Sam and I, this is probably, 6 or 7 years ago?
No,
we were in a recruitment
meeting,
a decade ago. We were in a recruitment meeting with a lady who was probably my age. Anyway, so she started talking about things that happen when you get to our age. Yeah. And Sam goes, I'm only this age. She didn't believe him. He had to pull his driver's license out in the middle of a recruitment interview.
Wow.
Funny to say we didn't recruit her because he got his nose out of job. I can't deal with that. Benjamin Button.
Yeah, you just let Aaron, you just let him run. He'll go off on a tangent. Sometimes we have to, push him back in. But no, that happened.
Yeah.
No question. But
humbling experience.
No, it wasn't humbling. I think it just goes to show you that when you're this good,
people just assume you're older.
Just assume I'm older.
You can't be that young and that good.
Yeah, exactly.
True.
Yeah. No, that's
just give him the go to water already. Just give it to him now. Give it to him.
I had the same thing.
But what do you do, Spud? Sunday morning, you wake up.
Sunday morning I wake
Might
up.
be Saturday morning for you as well.
No,
Skipping the options.
Sunday morning's always the same routine. Wake up, 5 o'clock, go for a walk with Kelly. Now we take the dogs. She goes to Pilates.
What are the dogs called?
Kevy and Coco.
Kevy.
Kevy and Coco. So,
Did you get to name Kevy?
no, Kelly come up with the
Oh,
names.
that's
So,
pretty good by Kel.
Yeah, then it's down the Depot restaurant after Kelly finishes Pilates, and we have the same breakfast
Is that
every
Depot?
Sunday morning at Depot on the river.
Not
and
Depot.
And then sometimes we end up taking the boat out for a little bit and just chill on the river. But yeah, it's funny when you talk about routines during the week. So for me, to clear my mind is I actually like waking up, going down to the river in the morning, having a quick cup of coffee real early, and then starting the day off with a bit of gratitude, I suppose. So when I look around and I go, do you know what? No matter how bad I think things are or what the games my mind's playing on me, life's not that bad. And I suppose that's my leveler.
Yeah, well, obviously you've asked us, mate. Tell us a little bit about your morning. Rubbing shoulders with AFL stars and
No,
you love it.
Yeah, mate, you know.
One of the great Brisbane Lions fans.
Mate, one of the greats, exactly. Go the Lions, go the Broncos. How good's 2025? No, hey, in the morning, I definitely used to go to the coffee shop every morning. And, you know, me and Rosie and Timmy would venture off down the road to Grumpy Monkey at Norman Park. We've moved now. Part of that move, we got a coffee machine. So now I only go to the coffee shop to buy beans from Grumpy Monkey. Right. Which Victoria also does quite often. So I don't go to the coffee shop quite often anymore. But no, in the morning, I'm just the first thing. I'm a bit boring, but the first thing I probably do is just see what I have on for the day and try and get my head around where I need to be. And often that probably starts the night before if I'm going to Noosa or somewhere, one of the other offices, just to work out what time I need to be on the road. But no, I wouldn't say I get up the earliest. You know, probably 2-3 times a week I'll go for a walk on the treadmill and jump in the sauna and do those sorts of things. But no, I'm pretty cruisy in the morning. I just like to get into it and start working. And so you'll often get an early email or two from me after I've read what's going on. I just figure once I'm up and about, I might as well get up and about. And I sort of traditionally, or not traditionally, because that's probably a poor word for it, but I try to make the kids breakfast. It's probably my one role that I can do. Rosie likes fish fingers at the moment. Timmy has, what's Timmy into at the moment? Eggs, fried eggs. So he'll want a couple of fried eggs. I can make pretty mean fried eggs in a couple of seconds. So that's basically my role. And Victoria will probably put a comment on this podcast that I'm lucky to do it twice a week, and it's probably true. But
Mate, hey, don't undersell yourself, mate. You're one of the great husbands.
one of the greats. And I think from that stage, I just try to get into it as quickly as possible. So I don't, you know, I'm not a prolific gym goer like AB. I'm not there every morning. I'm probably there 2-3 times a week these days. Get myself going.
Just talking about Pilates before.
Were we?
Well, I thought we were.
We were.
I know Kelly does lots of Pilates, and I know Victoria does lots of Pilates.
I said Kelly does Pilates.
Just then?
In my routine, because I wait for Kelly to finish Pilates.
You do know that you can do this thing called goat Pilates, hey? You can do Pilates with goats.
Yes, I have seen that.
Yeah.
My sister does it.
We should ask Luke, who is helping us with this podcast from Umbrella Creative, and shout out to Luke, whether or not we can film from the Golates studio.
You can do Pilates with a goat and you can do yoga with a goat.
Nice.
I could see Sam doing the downward dog with a goat on his back.
Fair to say, whenever you're doing Pilates or yoga with me, it's with a goat. So. Yeah, we don't even have to.
You are one of the great love makers, Sammy.
The greats. Wow. All right, we'll keep moving on. What's the
Where are we up to?
what's the number one thing in your life? I'll start with you, Nathan. You just won't bend on. Now, this will be hard for you because you are one of the more stubborn people I've met in my life. So if you could boil all your stubbornness down to one thing, you won't bend on it, what is it?
My integrity. I know how I was brought up. My word is everything.
Yep.
And I just won't ever budge on that. So, there's many times where if someone tells me something in confidence, it's in the vault.
Yep.
And that's something I pride myself on.
Yep.
100%. So there's been a few, we've had times where I go, I'm just not going to say, because that would be going against who I feel I am as a person. And that's tough situations to be in sometimes. But I just don't falter on that. So,
Sammy?
I'm asking the questions here. What's the number one thing in your life that you just won't bend on? I think for me now it's just my relationship with my family is probably first and foremost. And I think for a long time, I think everything was, real estate and work, and then you get married and then you have kids. And so you really struggle to reframe what your life is. But for me now, it's making sure that my home life is my best life and not in that order.
Yep.
What about you?
I'd say for me, the most important thing is my relationship with my kids, right?
Yep.
I mean, our responsibility as parents is to raise good quality humans. And, somebody said to me years ago, you're only ever as happy as your most unhappy child. And, all of our kids face battles. And, being a young person in today's society comes with its own set of challenges. So my relationship with my kids is absolutely critical, and relationships with people I care about and love. But I guess also for my own personal disciplines as well. Just making sure that I'm filling my own bucket up first. I spent years and years and years filling everyone else's bucket up and running on empty. And part of my responsibility to be the best version of me is to make sure that I continue to look after me and do the right thing there in order to be more value to the people that I love and care about around me. So I guess discipline for mine is, we often start with motivation to go and do something, whether it be physical or mental or any of those things. And we all know that long after motivation wears off, you have to rely on discipline to get the job done, right? So discipline from my perspective. Like I don't enjoy getting up at 4:45 to go to the gym. If I could lie in bed for a bit longer, I would. I do it to try and maintain strength and health, and it's good for my mental management, getting up early, going through my processes. I do that so that by the time I roll into the office at 7:30, I'm on.
I think that's so true. I think the three of us, one thing that 100% aligns is our family values.
Yep.
I think we all value that, number one. And, what Sammy does with these kids is great. Especially I look back and I go, I probably didn't invest as much time with my kids growing up. So seeing him do it, I get it.
Yeah.
Because you can make the mistake of work first and doing long hours. So, I really love that we have those values that we share.
They're your legacy,
100%,
right?
100%. Well, that's why we do it.
Yeah.
I know that's for me. Is legacy that my kids look back and go, he did something great and a part of the journey we were involved, and that was important. So.
Yep.
Right. Well, the way we're going to finish this podcast into the future is that we're going to ask everyone who comes on. We're not going to do it today because the first few episodes we're going to put each other under the microscope with some hard-hitting questions. So the question we're always going to ask is, what's the most or least goat-worthy advice you've ever received? But instead of doing that, right, and you touched on it at the start, AB, with with David Clifton. So, and I'm happy for you to rewrite your answer now, but in your real estate and business world, set aside, and hey, you know, business and family probably do blend in. So, in your world, who's the biggest goat that you look to for advice, inspiration, and or going back?
I think that's probably a 30-minute question, if that makes any sense. And I'm not meaning to deflect it. I think in parts of your life, you're going to have people that you go to for different things that you need. So, you know, real estate-y wise, mate, there's lots of really good quality people out there. I mean, there's not too many better out there at real estate as a practitioner than you are. Right.
Are you looking at me?
Yeah.
All right.
That's Sam, by the way, everyone, just so everyone knows it's Sam. And look, there's different parts of your life that you're going to have different people that you confide in or that you have a relationship with over that particular part of your world, whether it be health and fitness or friendship or coaching or mentoring. You know, there's you know, we've all probably had different mentors through our life. Like I can probably say I've had 5 or 6 different mentors throughout my life. You know, I think that's a hard question to answer. If you're going to be completely honest with yourself about it, say you go to the person that you think can help you meet your needs at the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember you and I had a discussion years ago because, you know, part and parcel of being a coach or a mentor and a real estate business owner is people come to you with their stuff all the time, right? And, you know, the moment people stop coming to you with their issues, they've lost their ability and your ability to help them fix it, right?
Yeah.
So part and parcel of, you know, with pressure is privilege.
Yeah. I was about to
And
say
with privilege
preference is the pleasure. Yeah.
So, you know, having people come to you with something that's going on and then being able to confide in you that they trust it, they trust you, they're happy to be vulnerable, and that they know that it stays between you guys, which I think, as you talk about, you know, your words, your honour. If someone comes to you in a vulnerable state, that they know that they can trust you and sit down and confide with what's going on, because, you know, often a problem shared's a problem halved, right? So everyone's got a battle. They want to sit down and have a chat. And I think, you know, people have a natural way of sourcing or finding the person that they think can best help them. I do, you do, everybody does.
Yep.
I don't think there's one person, mate. I think there's a number of people.
Cool. Spudley, are you Switzerland as well, mate, or you're going to just hit us with somebody who's just done it for you?
I had one person for a long, long time, but unfortunately his name was David Hall and he's not alive today. He was my go-to for a lot of things. He was a good friend. He was a lot older than I. He was probably about 25 years older than me. I met him when I was young in real estate, and he took a liking to me, and he supported me in many different ways. It was just a chat. He was a very successful business person, so I could talk through a lot of different scenarios, and he wasn't involved in running real estate. Obviously invested a lot in real estate. So it was good. It was that independent person outside of the industry that was my leveler, that would tell me to pull my head in when I need to pull my head in, but then also sit there if I was pump me up when I needed pumping up. And he simplified a lot of stuff for me. He just made it simple with his approach. It wasn't complex. It was just, from the basic things about, financially, I was struggling to understand the stuff. And it was the old simple thing: one bit of paper, line down the middle, tell me your expenses. Didn't know the answer. He goes, well, there's your problem. Come back when you know your numbers.
Yep.
He goes, it's as simple as that. You can make it all complex and all these spreadsheets and stuff like that. It's just a bit of paper with in and out.
Yep.
Simple as that.
You, Sammy?
Oh,
I'm probably a little bit like you, AB. I think in different parts of my life, I think I've got different mentors or guides. So I couldn't. I'd really struggle to put, a a tremendous weight. I mean, there's people like you said, you know, yourself and Ben Chick and you know, Tricky, Craig Harrison, like all these guys. I think the beauty of what I've had around me at some stage is lots of different really great people who could give me the advice I was seeking at that particular point in time. So, no, I don't know if there's necessarily one cooter or goat, but we're still searching.
Cool.
All right, guys.
Well done.
Episode 1.
Done and dusted.
One goat
No.
and the property guys. Hey?
Here we go.
Hopefully we see you next week.
Should we retire
Yeah.
on a high?
I don't know if it's a high. Thanks, boys.
Cheers,
Right,
guys.
see you, mate.
Bye. Thanks so much for joining us for another episode of One Goat and the Property Guys. Remember, make sure you vote for if they were a goat or a spud during the last episode. Don't forget to like and subscribe to YouTube and at Apple Podcasts so that we can keep creating great goat-worthy memories.